Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Thursday edition of the JP Peterson Show as the Bucs continue to roll in free agency, and the national reaction to what's going on in Tampa Bay is very, very interesting. So we're going to get into that. We got some nice clips for you, including a one-on-one I did with Baker Mayfield yesterday after the press conference, which was pretty interesting in and of itself. So we'll get into all that. We'll say good morning to you, Nick Geddes from On3 Sports. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm home finally from New York City, which I went for my first time. So got in yesterday.
You survived.
I survived the jungle, as they called it over there.
Wow.
A little overwhelming, JP. But
First time into New York City?
It was my first time ever in New York City. First time ever in like a big city like that.
That could be a little overwhelming.
Just a little bit. Little bit. But, you know,
Imagine,
all the Tampa fans should thank me, though, because I was on an elite run of like cursing New York sports franchises while I was there.
What?
An elite
Really?
run.
Really? Did you go to
In
any
a span
game?
of 2 days, I didn't know. No, the prices. I'll never complain about the price of going to any ticket ever here in Tampa Bay. New York is a different level. But in the little 3-day span that I was there, the Giants lost Saquon Barkley. Garrett Cole's out for 2 months with an injury. The Knicks scored 73 points in an NBA game in 2024. What's his face? Rempe for the Rangers got suspended 4 games for a dangerous hit, and the Islanders coughed one up at home, which helps the Lightning out, obviously, in the playoff push. So, and the Jets are the Jets. So everything that happened to New York teams happened while I was there. So I thought I was a little bit of a good luck charm for our
We may have to
Tampa
ship
over
you back. We may have to ship you back to New York.
Apparently.
Well, imagine, so you went to Times Square, obviously, right?
For about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's about all you can handle?
Times Square is the worst part of New York City.
Yeah, it's the most crowded, but the craziest. I mean, you got to see it, right? You got to see it.
Right.
Imagine every corner like that for like 25 city blocks lit up like that. That's Tokyo. So like New York is big. New York is crazy. Tokyo is just like on another level from New York. So if you ever get a chance to do that, but yeah, New York City. But you know, did you feel safe? Did you feel safe?
I was gonna say, like, my whole, like, you hear the outside narratives about the big cities in the U.S. and maybe some of them are true, but really not once did I feel like I was like out of, like, in a bad area in New York City. It actually took me back. Like, I didn't really, like, everybody says it smells and stuff like that. Didn't really get much of that.
The subway? Did you ride the subway?
I did. See, I stayed away from the subway. Because there was this whole thing with the National Guard that was called in because there's been like all this crime. So we just stayed away from it.
Yeah,
but
smart.
Yeah, and we stayed in the Upper West Side, which was like kind of a nicer neighborhood area.
Nicer. Yes.
So maybe I didn't get the full experience, but we went to like Broadway and everything and didn't feel out of place at all. So
Nice. All right, well, you're back in Tampa Bay, and Baker's cooking here in Tampa Bay. Really interesting press conference yesterday, I thought, because it kind of brought the whole vibe of what the Bucs are doing. I thought it was just a really great representation between the interviews and Jason Light's light touch that he has in these settings now. He's very comfortable cracking jokes, and you could just tell that the camaraderie between the general manager and Baker, and you'll hear this in the one-on-one because I kind of pressed him on, you weren't going anywhere. He's just laughing. He wasn't going anywhere. Everybody knew it. And that's I think if people say, well, why did it take so long to get done? Well, first of all, Jason Light knew what he was dealing with. He knew Baker Mayfield wasn't going anywhere, but he also had to, give him a fair wage. You got to pay him fairly for what he's doing, what he has earned, and what his possibilities are. And I think he has a much bigger upside than Kirk Cousins. And you saw the deal that Cousins got on the open market. And you'll hear Baker's, response to that in the press conference. I asked him that in the press conference about taking less money. I thought his answer was really, really interesting and forthright. And it just really shows that this team is all pulling in the same direction. It's rare. I think it's rare in this day and age that, Dak Prescott goes out and he chases the bag, and his agent forces the Cowboys to cough up way more money than is helpful in building a team. And there's no question to me that Baker Mayfield, do you think Atlanta would rather have had Kirk Cousins than Baker Mayfield?
I do. I actually do. I think Atlanta was zeroed in on Kirk, and this is this is nothing against Baker, but Baker has really only proven it. Like, this was like the first year that I would say he showed signs of putting it all together, whereas Kirk has been more of a proven commodity for the duration of his career. And I think with Raheem Morris coming in here for a second shot and probably his last shot at getting this right, I think that Arthur Blank, the GM there, and Raheem Morris probably said, we want the more proven commodity. And I think they viewed that as Kirk Cousins, take his age and take his injury out of the whole thing. I think Kirk was more of the proven commodity to them, and clearly they paid for that too. Yeah. And he has roots in Atlanta, I believe. I think there's something with his family that had already lived there.
His in-laws.
Or his in-laws or whatever. So he had that kind of going for him.
Rick that posted this yesterday, that you got to question a man's judgment who moves closer to his in-laws. I mean, he's got
that is very true.
He's got a point there. He's got a point.
But
that's not good decision making in the pocket right there. That shows me a guy that's making bad decisions. That's Jameis Winston level bad decisions. But we jest. Yeah. So look, I disagree with you. I think if the Bucs don't sign the Baker Mayfield and announce it before free agency, I think that the Falcons would have offered Baker Mayfield the same deal. And part of the reason I believe that is listening to Liam Cohen yesterday. We talked to Liam Cohen, and I'm going to post some of that stuff on Twitter. I didn't have time to do it this morning, but and he talked about what Baker did when he came to LA. And you got to remember, Raheem was there, okay?
Right.
And Zach Robinson was there. And he talked about how Baker made football fun again. Like, when he got to LA, they were having a really, really tough season. And his energy just lit up the room. And his positivity really helped that team get through some tough times and win a couple games. And I don't think that Raheem or Zach Robinson knows Kirk Cousins like that. And that's not –
well, no, Raheem was part of the coaching staff. Remember when Kirk was in Washington?
Yeah.
So he already had that
That's a long
kind of relationship. Time ago. It was a long time ago, but it's a relationship for what it's worth.
Sure.
And part of the reason why they might have given Kirk so much money was after after Baker got locked up. I mean, what other free agent quarterback out there realistically was going to be a game changer? They're picking at 8, and they're like, unless we move up, we're going to get, at least on our board, quarterback 4, probably. We need to win now. We feel like we need to turn that corner. The division is still a little on the weak side. So let's just go overpay for Kirk Cousins. So I'm sure both these things are probably true.
Yes. Yeah. But I think that the Bucs, well, let's put it this way, and you'll hear it from Baker. He could have got more money. His agents, are talking to Atlanta behind the scenes. That's just the way it goes. There's, we call it, I'm not even going to use the stupid oxymoronic term, but that term, there's always tampering. Tampering's always going on. They have to do it. It's part of the business. If you're not doing it, you're not doing it right. This is why these guys have agents. And he knows what Atlanta was willing to offer him. But as he said, it's life-changing money anyway. It's no shame to take that kind of cash. And he did it for a reason. So everybody else could come back. And that's what I think is what, to me, that is the number one headline behind these signings of Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield and Chase McLaughlin and Antoine Winfield Jr., Levante David, all of them. To me, that's the overarching thing is they all, except Levante. But Levante probably said, I took less money last year, so I get some money this year. Okay, fair. So I think, and that to me is the biggest headline here. These guys are together. They're doing it with their money. They're putting their money where their mouth is. And you don't see that in the NFL. You don't see it in Dallas. You don't see it in Atlanta. You don't see it in these places. And that to me is important because first and foremost, you got more talent on your team. But maybe even more than that, you are not just talking about winning, you're doing something. You're sacrificing something real, like big money. So that, to me, you could say you want to win all you want. But if you go in there and take a $60 million contract at the quarterback, you don't want to win that bad. You're more interested in your money and your bag. And that's, I don't, and people can say, oh, that's not their fault. That's the general manager has to figure out how to win and blah, 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 blah. That's all true. But you make it a lot easier for your general manager and for your team if you don't take up all the salary cap space. Simple. It's a math game.
I mean, look at the top 5 earners this year for quarterback set for cap hit. Deshaun Watson, $63.9 million. Yeah. And to be honest, I'm not sure now with Jameis in the building that you won't see that guy starting before long because Deshaun Watson doesn't really have it anymore. No, $63.9 million. Dak Prescott, $59.4. Yep. Have the Cowboys done much of anything to upgrade their roster this offseason? No.
Nope. And people really what are the Cowboys? They can't do anything.
They can, and they still got to pay Parsons and CD. So
you don't think they want to go out and sign big time guys?
Right.
You don't think they want to sign Brian Burns? You don't think? Come on.
Kyler Murray 51.4, Stafford 49.5, and then the big one, the Giants paying Daniel $47.1 million cap hit for Daniel Jones.
Jesus.
Of those 5 quarterbacks, Stafford's the only one that I go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. Most quarterback contracts are bad.
Correct.
Most of them are.
And Mahomes is still taking is still restructuring and stuff. What was it? They cleared $21 million in cap space the other day?
Yeah. He's still making moves because he understands what Brady understood. I could take 10 million less and make 25 million more in endorsements winning a Super Bowl. Duh. Do the math there. I take less money on my team salary cap and I make it up on the back end endorsements because I'm winning Super Bowls right and left. It's a little bit of a gamble, but if you're confident in your abilities that you can get the job done, you're going to make more money on the open market. Super smart.
Yeah, and I can't overstate, how difficult it is to go into free agency and all the money that's being dealed around and then the salary cap going up. So all these teams have even more money to move around.
Right.
And for the Bucs to get back, 4 or 5 Pro Bowl caliber players in a span of a week, a week and a half?
Yep.
I hope people realize, don't worry about the new guys who are coming in, which actually there have been none. There's been 0 new players that have come in. Jordan Whitehead is here, but he's
even an old draft. Yeah, he's even an old guard,
right?
Yeah, right.
So there's been no new blood that's come in. But to me, this is the best free agency haul of any team. It really is, because it wasn't a guarantee that you're going to keep everybody, and not just keep everybody, but they got everybody at a reasonable rate. Right. Is Antoine Winfield Jr., when he gets his contract signed, is he going to break the safety market? Of course he is.
Yeah.
But outside of that, they didn't have to give somebody a contract where I go, ooh, I don't know about that. And then there was a sacrifice along the way, being Carlton Davis. And who knows, by shedding Carlton's contract, I think they saved $6 million?
14 million total.
14 million total. It adds them to it lets them give. And I heard the 49ers were pretty interested in Levante David. Maybe it allowed the Bucs to give him $3 million more than what they gave him last year.
Yep,
this time. So there's always a sacrifice there, obviously, and they're gonna have to get somebody in there to fill Carlton. But worry about that later. All the key pieces are here. The Bucs are set up well, and for my money, he proved again he's the best GM in the league. Jason Licht.
Yeah, he's crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. He was super funny yesterday at the press conference. We'll hear a little bit of that. I want to get to some of the comments quickly here this morning. Thank you guys all for dropping in, and especially you that want to give me crap like Rick. JP with the hard-hitting questions about hats and stadium living. Come on, man. We got to lighten it up towards the end. And by the way, the hat that he had on, I got a text message from one of his partners and said, maybe you should ask him about that hat. I said, well, let me find out about it. And we uncovered that he is in a business relationship with his general manager, Jason Licht, or some type of I think it's more of a philanthropic group, to be quite honest. So I don't think I think it's more of a charity group. Just basically, a bunch of big hitters in this marketplace. Vinny LeCavalier, I think Booger's involved in it. Derek Brooks, Baker Mayfield, all these guys, and they help out local businesses. So that's why I asked the question. The other serious question that I asked that I wanted to get to was to hear him talking about taking less money. I thought that was a good question. That was a real good question. And I don't know if anybody else really wanted to ask it in that way. But he did. And I thought the answer was really good. So take that, Rick. Give me crap this morning. I get it. Christopher Cole said, morning. Oh, I wrote this on yesterday's show, but I realized it was pre-recorded. Yes, it was. So thank you guys for jumping back in. The Watson and Winston quarterback room could be a bit touchy. Oh, touchy. I see what you did there. Nicely done. Yes, no massage therapists in that room. Lonnie Wilkins says, reminds me of the Ron White joke about getting stopped in a hotel lobby and thinking possibly his in-laws getting that inheritance. Yeah, they got to be happy. What is $411 million he will make after this contract?
Yeah, Kirk Cousins has done very well for himself. Put it that way.
Yes, he has. Wonder what the Bucs are going to do next. Well, they signed Jordan Whitehead. I think that's a freaking great signing. Jordan Whitehead, as Bucs Raise Bolt says, love the move. Yeah, I thought, he was a very physical safety, really helped out in the run game, but also took the ball away. Something this secondary needs to do. Catch the freaking ball.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was surprised. I was a little surprised to see this reunion, if I'm being completely honest.
They got him on a great deal, 2 years, $9 million.
Yeah, they got him on the great deal, and the safety market's loaded, and it's not really moving, by the way, as much as you would have thought. But no, I was a little surprised because, listen, you remember the shows we did after the Rams game, and what was it? The whole thing, Jordan Whitefield wasn't on the field.
Yeah.
For the last play. And I believe he was pretty upset about that. And I know the Bucs would have loved to have brought him back that year, but they didn't have the money to do it, and they had to let him go. But you might have thought there might have been some heat there between him and Todd. But clearly they let it go. The players clearly loved him. I mean, this was like a groundswell movement. Like, I never thought for 1 second this was like we were going to get Jordan Whitehead back in the building. And then it's like, at the beginning of the month, he's posting highlights of his time in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the players start tweeting about it. Rashad White, who didn't even play with him, is tweeting about it. It's almost as if they had a very big influence on it. I know the Bucs obviously had that relationship too, and Todd wants somebody who can come in and, from day one knows what he understands his role. And him and Winfield worked well together the 2 years they were there, so that's a big thing.
That's huge.
So it's a great move. In 2 years, $9 million, not breaking the bank.
Well, and this again, Kirk Cousins, and I know there are offsets and all the different things, but annual average value, you look at $30 million for Bake, right? $45 million, $15 million difference in Cousins. That's Chase McLaughlin, your freaking nails kicker. That's Jordan Whitehead now, and Greg Gaines, and you still got room for more.
Right.
So, I mean, how is it different when you take less money? There it is. And probably a portion of Levante David's contract as well. So if you're Atlanta or if you're Tampa, and look, Atlanta still has a lot of these young players under rookie contracts. That's not going to be that way forever. Right. And this contract goes for another 4 years for them. So they're going to have to start losing some of these players. The Bucs are able to bring all these other players back because of Mike and Baker's specifically taking less money. That's huge. That's huge. There it is right there. And that's the headline for me on all of this. What's the latest on Devin White, says Bucs Raise Bolts? Nothing. Although I did see he was posting all this great stuff about his time in Tampa Bay. Oh, how our Instagram has changed. What happened to the Eagles emojis and the comments on Jalen Hurts and all and the Eagles stuff and the Cowboys? What happened to the Cowboys emojis? Didn't we want to be a Cowboy?
Isn't it telling that the Philadelphia Eagles legit just need anybody possible to play linebacker for them? I haven't seen a single thing linking Devin White and the Eagles. Might happen. I don't know. I don't see it. Linebackers got paid pretty good I would say, in the offseason. The Blake
Patrick
Cashman
Queen
deal was
did.
pretty good.
Mhm.
Patrick Queen got his deal. Frankie Louvu, I believe it was, who went from Carolina to, I can't even remember now. Doesn't really matter. Point is that Devin White, you was talking about overplaying your hand
Yeah.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not recognizing your worth, and then having the season he had. I bet he did not think that he'd still be sitting here on free agency on Thursday.
We certainly did.
And we certainly saw it, and the league is clearly caught up to it. But yeah, I don't know what the move
Jonathan
is. For anybody,
Vilma, if he's the
anybody
best
saying,
linebacker in football, how come nobody's signing him?
right? Or Ray Lewis saying the same
Or Ray
thing.
Lewis,
top
yeah,
five
top
linebacker.
5 guy. Why? Is
But
signing him?
I seriously, I do see some Bucs fans who are like, well, he's still out there, so he's got to be really cheap. Why don't we bring him back on a 1-year deal or whatever? And it's you have to rip the Band-Aid off completely.
No. I don't care how cheap he is. This culture, where's the outlier here? All this stuff we just talked about, all these guys pulling in the right direction. Are any of those guys I just mentioned putting crap on their Instagram about the Eagles or the Cowboys, or saying how he's going to hold out, or he wants $100 million? Are any of these guys, who are way more worthy of doing it, by the way, way more worthy than you? Like, if they did it, we'd have to go, well, they are worth it, but none of them did that because they're adults. They don't do that passive aggressive BS on Instagram. And, and notice, Devin, who got paid. Not the guy that did the childish stuff on Instagram, not the guy that pouted in the locker room, not that guy. No, that guy didn't get paid. The guys that went out there, Mike didn't get paid last year. What did he do? He went out and balled out and got his money. That's how you do it. Not how you did it. So if the ultimate, and I know everybody was telling you, shut the hell up. Stop doing what you're doing. But you couldn't. You couldn't stop. Derek Brooks was telling you that. Levante David was telling you that. Shut up and play. Your Larry Foote told you got champagne problems, bro. Shut up and play. Everybody told you that, but you didn't do it. You just thought you were going to show up and get the bag. Doesn't work that way. Doesn't work that way. And I'm sorry for you. But you kind of dug your own grave in this situation. And a lot of people tried to help you, but you wouldn't listen. And now you're sitting there without a team and definitely without a bag.
Yeah, and it kind of says here, so I'm on Spot Track because I think somebody had asked, like, what's the next moves in one of the comments. Mm-hmm. The estimated cap space is showing $3.5 million right now that they have to play with. But I believe if they wanted to, they could still restructure some contracts. Yeah. And then assuming they get a deal done with Antoine Winfield and then Wirfs as well.
Yeah, that will take their cap numbers way down.
Yeah, that'll take their cap numbers way down, and I think they'll do some, I don't want to call it dumpster diving necessarily in free agency, but just looking for some of those values. I think they'll plug some holes, maybe add a little bit of some veterans to this still pretty young team, by the way.
Yeah,
And then they'll turn their attention to the draft. But again, securing what they had already, Pro Bowl caliber players, some of them Hall of Fame worthy, clearly. That was priority number one, and they did that. So everything else is window dressing at this point.
Yeah. I was watching Get Up this morning, and the topic was actually, does Kirk Cousins make the Falcons the favorite in the NFC? And Greenberg said not only in the NFC South, but they're a Super Bowl contender. To which Kimberly Martin was like, let's pump the brakes.
Super Bowl contender?
Yeah. She was like, let's pump the brakes. Because what has Kirk Cousins really done in 12 years besides make a crap ton of money? He's got one playoff win.
He's got one playoff win, and that's why I'm never going to say like a Kirk Cousins led team. At least in this situation, like Atlanta has a nice roster to an extent. They have some good young pieces that haven't been used probably the way they should be. Looking at you, Kyle Pitts. But does Kirk Cousins make them a Super Bowl contender? Yeah. I do think Greenberg. I don't see that one. That's typical.
And Damian Woody agreed.
Yeah, no. I will say this. I don't think Bucs fans should just be like looking at Atlanta and going, not worried about it. I wouldn't say that.
They are worthy.
I don't want to like you could say two things at once. Kirk Cousins, I don't think is going to take you to a Super Bowl, but Kirk Cousins has proven he can win you 13 games in a regular season and be really good. Last year he was having a career year before the Achilles. And I really don't personally care about the Achilles injury because he was never mobile to begin with.
Yeah, but still, you got to be,
mean,
you got to be a little mobile.
I know some people are concerned that he's going to play on turf now, obviously, so you got to worry about that to an extent. But I'm not going to just completely. Oh, Atlanta overpaid for Kirk Cousins. They're not going to be good. They're going to be a good team.
They're a good football team. There's no question about it. But making them the obvious choice or the odds on is, first of all, great for the Bucs. That's exactly where we want to be. They want to be in the underdog mode. So
correct.
It's a great thing. If you're a Bucs fan and you're getting pissed at that, don't clap, applaud. You got to just build them all up. Build them all up and tell them how great they are, because they've proven nothing. They've done nothing, and that's right where the Bucs want to be. That's their groove, the underdog groove. And then you look at it, and what Kimberly Martin actually said it. She's like, nobody wants to talk about the Bucs. Nobody wants to talk about the Bucs, who've been to the playoffs 4 straight years. Nobody wants to talk about them because they didn't do any splash, because they just got their own guys back. And getting your own guys back is better than bringing in new guys, because continuity wins in this league.
Right.
So, she's absolutely right. That's what we've been saying.
And
but the national narrative is not that, which is stupid.
Yeah, and the splash is overrated. The splash signing is overrated in certain aspects. I mean, what's the biggest splash signing of free agency so far? What was it?
Saquon. It's the biggest name, from the Giants to the Eagles, same division, bitter rivals, blah blah blah. Maybe that, but Kirk Cousins would be in that mold as well.
Yeah, Derrick Henry to the Ravens. All these moves. I mean, the receiver moves are ridiculous. Calvin Ridley to the Titans for $92 million at 29 years old, and Gabe Davis going to the Jaguars for almost $15 million per. I mean, you just add them all up. There's a lot of splash signings out there, but. I don't think using free agency to go acquire other talent, excluding your own guys, which the Bucs did, but acquiring other talent, I don't think that's proven to be the model. To win championships in the NFL. Yeah, I mean, the Bucs, to an extent, clearly the greatest free agent in the history of free agents, opened up, and clearly things change a little bit differently there. But the Bucs still had a nice nucleus around it, though. Right.
That's why he came here. That's why Brady came here, because the roster was good. Kirk Cousins. Listen, it's a copycat league, right? The Bucs did it, right? And then the Rams did it. Now the Falcons are trying to do it. The Steelers are trying to do it. You go get the veteran guy instead of chasing the young stud, and which you don't know if he's going to play or not. By the way, interesting conversation with Ryan Leaf on Dan Patrick's show, where he said, who's his top quarterback, you think, in this draft? I don't know.
Based on the way you're setting it up, I'm going to say it's not 13.
No, it's not 13. It's Michael Penix. Penix. He says he is the best downfield, most accurate downfield thrower he's seen in generations. And that's true. And Bruce Arians said the same thing. There's a lot of people saying the same thing. Yeah.
If Bruce was the head coach of the Bucs, if he was the head coach of the Bucs right now, I would have not put it past the Bucs taking Penix at 26. I really wouldn't have.
They still might.
Yeah, I don't see that now, but he looks like a guy Bruce would love.
Yeah, I think whoever gets Michael Penix is going to get a steal, and I think he's going to go a lot higher than people think he is. I think somebody's going to jump up there and grab him. The arm talent is too enticing.
He is the best deep ball thrower in this draft. I don't think that's
in this draft and the next. I would, going back to Joe Burrow, which is not that long ago, but then further back than that, I don't remember a better deep ball thrower than this guy. His ball placement is just ridiculous, and also his anticipation and playing from the pocket, his timing. I mean, he had a bad championship game because he got rocked early on in the game.
Yeah,
he got his ankle stepped on, and he could barely move. And people don't, and like, he finally went up against a really good defense. No, he played against some good defenses. The semifinal ripped it up, so he can play. And listen. If the Bucs took him at 26, would I be pissed? Nope. I mean, do they need some other things? Absolutely.
I would not like it at all, because I think because the Bucs just sent a message that we're running it back, and we've been talking about all these guys taking less money to chase a championship. And
you're right.
Think we might be a year or two in that window here with Baker. Then to take a quarterback, it screams kind of.
I rescind the statement. Yeah, it would be a kind of a shot at Baker Mayfield that is not necessary.
Yeah, and you miss a big opportunity to upgrade to get a guy.
I rescind that statement. I rescind it. I just love Michael Penix.
Yeah, we love him, and he's from Tampa but in an alternate universe where they didn't sign Baker Mayfield, we all would be going gung-ho, let's go get Michael Penix, but that doesn't exist.
No. Yeah, I'll rescind that statement, but whoever gets him is going to get a steal. I'm telling you.
Probably.
And he said he would, and Ryan Leaf said he would sit Caleb Williams. And I've heard, who else said this too? I don't want to misrepresent somebody, but I've heard a couple experts now say, guys that I respect say Caleb Williams is not ready to start because as Ryan said, 75% of the stuff he did in college is not transferable to the NFL. And if you watch him play, I agree with that. You know, so much of it is off script. And a lot of it also, I think it was Tampa Bay Trevor Sikkema that told us this about Caleb, is that he sits in the pocket like will be unbelievably patient in the pocket and sometimes wait to 3 seconds to throw the ball. Well, you can't do that in the NFL. I mean, it's good in college, and if you got that type of protection and you could sit there and wait for things to develop, that's great. But, you're not going to have that time in the NFL. It's 2.4, 2.6 seconds. That ball's got to be out. You're not going to have 3.4 seconds to let plays develop. And so can he do it? Can he process that quickly? I get it. If you're going to have the time, why not take it in college? I get it. But still, we haven't seen him have to make those quick decisions on a regular basis. So and I think what Ryan is saying, and I haven't dug into the tape as much as he has, but he's like, well, he just sat in the pocket there for 4 seconds, waited for a guy to uncover, and then threw the ball. You can't, that ain't happening in the NFL. He just ran around for, 14 seconds back there with a bunch of slow guys chasing him and then made a play. That ain't happening in the NFL. So I tend to agree with him, and it's still going to be very interesting to see what Chicago does because they still have Justin Fields. He still have Justin Fields. And I heard Kyle Long said this, and they put it on Get Up this morning. Something I'd said last week is like, if you hold on to Justin, guess what? Somebody's going down. Some starter is going down with a good team, and they're going to say, okay, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I'm going to give a first to the Bears to save our season, next year's first, and get Justin Fields? Yes. Okay, yes.
The whole situation is like either the Bears have some crazy value that they've put on Justin Fields.
I think that may be the issue.
Or the league is telling you how they feel about Justin Fields.
Yeah.
One of the two. He doesn't have a landing spot. There's no starting job for Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Like
that
whole thing is over at this point.
If he went to the Raiders, would he compete with Gardner Minshew? I think he would.
Well, no, because they're not going to do it because they have O'Connell. Won some games for them down the stretch last year. He's going to compete with Minshew.
I don't. It doesn't look like an obvious place, but I already have a bet here with Rick, or is it TJC, that Fields will be starting next year for someone. I didn't say. Did I say day one? I may have said day one starter. Can I amend that to like at some point in the season starting for somebody? I'm shocked. I'm shocked that nobody looks at that talent. The dude had 25 touchdown passes and 14 interceptions last year for a team that had no receivers. Okay, DJ Moore, right? All right.
I think it's ridiculous. Like I saw this on Monday's Get Up. I was watching it from my hotel room, and they literally put a side by side, and there's like Justin can play. And it was a side-by-side comparison of Lamar Jackson's stats.
Oh, I saw that.
Justin Fields' stats. And this is when I learned that I'm done looking at stats. Yeah. I'm done looking at numbers. Don't ever compare Justin Fields to Lamar Jackson ever again as a quarterback.
Yeah,
it's not close. It was silly.
The numbers. I agree.
It was silly. He's not a starting quarterback in the NFL right now. So I'm not gonna entertain any Bears fans who try to like overhype him because, again, clearly the Bears have either overvalued themselves or the NFL told you what they feel about him.
I rarely agree with James. Well, actually, we actually do agree a lot, but we disagree too. He said a good OC could make Fields a really good quarterback. The Bears should trade a pick, accumulate talent, and win with Fields. I think it's not a bad strategy. How can you not figure out a way to move the football with that guy? I mean, we watched Chicago play against the Bucs. The last 2 years, we've seen Justin Fields. And I'm like, I walk away from that game going, what are you doing? What are you doing with this guy? There's no RPOs, no real zone reads. You're just sitting there trying to make him a drop back Dan Marino quarterback. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's ridiculous.
But JP, those who live in the pocket are those guys who are winning championships.
You
in
don't
the
take.
NFL.
First of all, Pat Mahomes is not winning games from the pocket. Go check your sheet, bro.
We just talked about it during the Super Bowl that he was a great game manager and that he can combine the two and make it great. Justin Fields is good when he gets outside and all those things.
I watch.
He can't stand in the pocket and do it.
I watch.
Lamar Jackson's the same way. That's why he doesn't win in the playoffs.
I watch games. Patrick Mahomes is outside the pocket 75% of the time making plays. He's not winning from the pocket. You come on, go turn on the tape. He's not winning from the He can win from the pocket, no question.
He
can do whatever the hell he wants to do.
I don't think Justin Fields can do that, and I feel like the best quarterbacks in this league.
That may be true.
You at some point you have to.
I'm not saying Justin Fields
throw.
is Patrick Mahomes. What I'm saying is you could have a top 15 offense with Justin Fields, and I don't give a crap what his numbers are, but you should be able to score top 15 offense with a guy that big that can run like that and throw like that. And the quarterback, he was a very accurate quarterback in college. Suddenly he gets to the NFL and he can't hit the broadside of a barn because, the stuff that's probably going through his head and what they're trying to teach him, they're not playing to his strengths. They're not playing to his strengths. They're playing to his weaknesses. And when I watched that game plan against the Bucs, I'm like, what the F are they doing? That kid's got no chance. We talked too much about him. Let's get back to the Bucs. All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll do the Baker Mayfield one-on-one, and we'll also hear some Jason Light, and we're going to have some Liam Combs for you as well. Lots more coming your way. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. They are local, they are aggressive, and they get results. The local guys are where it's at, right? You can go to bigger law firms and get lost in the shuffle, or you can go with a local law firm who knows the local legal landscape, right? That makes a difference and can get you a higher settlement. And they don't like settling cases. They'll take them to the trial, and the other insurance companies know that. It's the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Give Scott Jeeves a call and his team over there, and they will help you out. All right, back in 3 with the Baker Mayfield one-on-one. Stay with us. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, You want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the J.P. Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your testosterone right, get your immune system right, and get that personal attention that you deserve from your primary care physician. Easy, just go to the website. They can sign up right there for an appointment. They do after-hours appointments, and get that personal attention, because there's probably so many things going on in your health life that are going unnoticed. So go to BAMMC.com and get your appointment now. All right. As we mentioned, Baker Mayfield yesterday signing his deal and holding court for the media. It was kind of a cool deal. You know, we've done a lot of these. I've been in that room for Brady. That was historic and incredibly interesting. This to a much lesser degree as Baker Mayfield walks out wearing a three-piece Valentino suit. Oh, no. It was a white T-shirt with a cross necklace, some bling, and a upside-down Tampa hat, which I still have to find out the name of that organization. Do you know anything about this philanthropic
Absolutely
organization?
not. I was just like everybody watching, where I was like, why is Tampa upside down on this man's hat?
Well, at least somebody had to ask, right?
Yes.
Aren't you glad I asked that question?
Yes.
There you go.
It was needed.
It was needed. So, well, that's in the regular press conference, so we'll get to that later. But here's our one-on-one with Baker Mayfield.
I mean, the number had to be right, to be honest with you. And this is, obviously life-changing money. And so for us, knowing that what I proved last year, I was going to take the best opportunity and to a place they wanted to win. Obviously, it came down to this, and a place that obviously familiar with, and just love that it's here. I love that I get to come back here and work with those guys, a lot of the same pieces, a lot of the same staff, and then obviously bringing in Liam Cohen, somebody that I'm familiar with. So knowing that we're all going to be able to push each other in the right direction.
You get a sense with Mike's deal and your deal that both of you guys could have hit the open market and probably made more money. Just describe to me what this feeling is like that when you're on a team. You've been on a lot of teams that it seems like everybody's pulling the boat in the same direction.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, Mike's a stud, and the guy's he's a true Hall of Famer that's done it so consistently for so long. Obviously, stats speak for itself, but he deserved to be here for a lifetime. That guy's earned that, so happy for him. But that's a big part of it. The guys here know they want to win. They can push each other. They're familiar with the surroundings, the community. They've been able to make a huge difference in that aspect. And so for us all to be able to say, listen, we want to do it and we want to work for another Super Bowl, that's what more can you ask for at that point?
And the community has embraced you. I've been out at events that you've been at, and they just love you. And your personality fits this city, right? I mean,
I never try and take myself too seriously. I think, we're all learning as we go on and grow up as well. So they have embraced me, and that's been the best part. And just I've always worn my heart on my sleeves, and I think that's a big part of it because they're so passionate about what they are passionate about, and they do the same thing, so it fits right in.
Is that part of it, staying here, the community as well?
A big part of it, yeah. And obviously Florida's a good place to live year-round, and that was a big part of it as well. So, yeah, the people, organization, teammates, it all encompasses and factor. Yeah.
Plus, you want to do the boat parade. The band's back together, but we have this all planned out on the show. We're going to Beer Can Island and the inner tubes.
Yeah. It's getting all the pieces back together was step one. Obviously, looking to have some new additions here in the coming days and coming month for the draft as well, and just to see what type of team we're going to have. And you start from there. It's going to be a special process, and don't want to get too ahead of yourself though either.
Indeed. It's not a boat parade to say we're winning the championship. It's, to celebrate that we got the team back together again, which is no easy task in this day and age of, football players that are just looking out for themselves. And, I get it. You got to look out for your family, but just give me the guys that want to win more than make tons and tons of money. Let that be the number one thing that they're trying to do, and let their actions speak louder than their words. And I think all these guys have proven that.
Yeah.
So let's go.
And then by the way, the media, they're starting to catch on. I think everybody has pretty much said that what the Bucs did is the most astonishing feat of free agency.
Have you seen that? I haven't seen a lot of that.
Yeah, I've been looking a lot about free agency grades and everything. And they've been getting a lot of A's and A minuses and stuff like that. And even Jason Light, he's been pretty active on Twitter. He doesn't forget. What was that clip like a couple weeks ago? At the
my
Combine
God, so good, so good.
This
guy for Sports Illustrated who had picked him for 2 wins, and he said, and so he, he kind of, the reporter was clearly shocked that Jason Light even read what he wrote, and even more shocked that he put it up on his bulletin board. He's like, Oh yeah, I know who this is. He pat us down for 2 wins. Guy's like, oh, so you saw that? Oh, okay, yeah. It's a priceless reaction. So good. So what's Jason putting on social media?
Yeah, he's just like, I'm going to look for it. I think he actually deleted it here. There was a reporter named Jonathan Jones, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
He's an NFL insider for NFL on CBS, and he had tweeted something yesterday. I'm trying to find it exactly. Basically, as like anybody had a better offseason than the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And again, it looks like Jason has deleted it, but he put like a response to it. And I think he was essentially just going out there like, because last year, you remember everything that he was doing, everybody was like poo-pooing on everything. And then this year, that was obviously different. So, but yeah, it looks like he deleted it though. So, well, I guess we'll never know anymore.
Was he boasting about?
It was just him being, how Jason is. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I wish I had it, man. Ugh.
Well, he did say, I noticed he said a couple of things to just, typical fans. And one fan was like, man, it'd be awesome if someone from the Bucs actually retweeted my stuff or responded to it. And then Jason Light was like, yay, we love you guys. Thanks. And he's like, oh, wow, Jason like my tweet. Yeah. And he's always out there doing that stuff. So,
right.
And I love this about this. Brian Ford's very much the same way. It's like an organization, that's just full of a bunch of ham and eggers working hard, just trying to get it done, and it just fits this community so well. It's just, we are not Miami. We are not LA. We're not glitz and glamour. We're not splash and dash. We are blue collar, hardworking, lunch pail people. And that's what we like our football team to be about. Like, right. The 0-2 Bucs bring that lunch pail and that defense to work every single day. Brad Johnson, the antithesis of flash and dash, just hardworking people getting it done. And, the Brady team certainly had a lot more star power, but you look at Brady and Gronk. I mean, they were stars, no question about it, but they were the hardest working guys on the team. 2 of them, right? They were lunch pail kind of guys, even though they're uber rich and superstars. They never, and I would say that about Brady too. Brady got all the attention. He wasn't clamoring for it, but it kind of came with the territory. But he was a hardworking dude. Nobody worked harder than Tom Brady. So that fit as well. And I think Baker Mayfield does. So I just, I said this yesterday. I'll say it again. You just get this vibe. Tristan Wirfs was there, in the background, and Luke Gedeke, a bunch of his teammates were there yesterday. Saying, hey, it's leg day. Let's go.
Has Tristan left the facility?
I don't think he has. I don't think he has.
Since he got back, since he landed from Detroit.
No, I think Baker's been there too, almost every day, from what I've heard. He's there. If he's not on a trip with the wife, and of course they're getting ready. He and Tristan both are getting ready for deliveries of their babies. Their wives are within a week of each other of their due dates. I mean, how funny would it be if they're in the hospital at the same time? If their wives are delivering, they're already stepbrothers. They're already stepbrothers, right? Attached at the hip. If their wives go into labor at the same time, I mean, there needs to be some type of investigation going on. Yeah, very, very interesting stuff from Baker yesterday. Let's take another break. We'll come back and we'll play some of the press conference. We got some of the Liam Cohen stuff. We'll get into some of the other happenings in the world of sports. The Bolts have a huge game with the Rangers tonight. I'll be very interested to see how the new guys, Dumba and Duclair, kind of work in tonight and on those lines. The Players' Championship is underway. We'll chat about that. I mentioned this, a Tiger, a possibility at Valspar. Yep. There's some rumblings. Not saying it's happening, but there are some rumblings that could happen. So we'll talk about all that and more when we come back right here on the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, are you going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show? It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Did you know Steve Weintraub founded the Gold and Diamond Source over 40 years ago by selling gold-plated sand dollars? And to celebrate, the Gold and Diamond Source is selling gold sand dollar jewelry with the proceeds supporting Julie and Steve Weintraub's foundation, Hands Across the Bay. Yes, in 1984, Steve opened their first location, expanded to 9 stores as far as Atlanta, but now they've consolidated all that inventory under one roof, becoming one of the largest family-owned fine jewelry stores in the country. Julie, of course, joined forces with her husband 20 years ago, and they're going to celebrate by offering up to 40% off select jewelry items. Plus, with gold prices near all-time highs, it's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. Unlock the value in your jewelry box today at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's always one place, and it's always a great place. The Gold and Diamond Source celebrating their 40th anniversary, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
And look how you love. We are back. Sorry, finishing my breakfast this morning. Come on, Nick, take over.
Hold on, I wasn't prepared. I still had myself muted too. We had a double issue there between the two of us. Coming
that was
back.
quick. That was quick back. Our breaks are so quick, I can't even finish my breakfast. For God's sakes, we always invite you guys to jump aboard at FamStreamJP on our Twitter. We have a Twitter show page as well that has the show. For our Facebook, JP Peterson. Of course, on our YouTube page, the JP Peterson Show, and always make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube channel, the JP Peterson Show, FanStream Sports, and on Apple and Spotify. You don't want to miss a show. Each and every day we're bringing it to you. Well, at least Monday through Friday. And bring up your comments because we always like interacting with you folks. Speaking of which, I'm not sure what Yeezy is asking. The call reverse $35, JP. What do I do?
That's the I looked it up. That's the name of the hat company. It's called Reversed.
It's not a hat company. The company. They just do everything upside down.
Yeah, I typed in reverse Tampa hat on Google.
Yeah.
It says it's reverse brand, reversebrand.com. Tampa hat, and they sell them in like 15 different colors, it looks like, and they're $35.
We'll have a $25 cutoff for all hats, so I guess I won't be getting one of those.
$25 cutoff for hat? Where are you getting your hats from?
Oh, you never buy retail, bro. You get a sale. Go to.
I'm ashamed that I went to the MLB shop in New York City.
Come on, man. What are you doing?
I found the Rays locker and I found a nice little gem that I hadn't seen anywhere, and of course I had to buy it. But
how much? Let me guess. Hold. Times Square MLB. What is it? T-shirt?
Yeah, Nike T-shirt.
Nike T-shirt. I'm gonna go 55.
It was 47 with tax.
40 for a T-shirt. What are you out of your mind?
It was a Devil Rays one. I'd never seen it before. It was in the MLB.
It'll be a Goodwill in 2 weeks for $2. Yeah, you can always find Ray stuff at Goodwill.
Jeez, come on.
Yes, absolutely, always. This is a question I do not even want to entertain. Did the Bucs go next level with OBJ?
Next level. Remember when the Ravens were going to go next level with OBJ?
Paid him what, $18 million last year? Ridiculous. 1 year, $18 million.
I'm good.
You know, OBJ has certainly matured. So he's not, the guy heading to the Bahamas, the weekend before a playoff game. He's not that guy anymore. But I still don't, it just, He's not Antonio Brown good. He's not going to transform the offense.
I think they need a youthful. They do need to get somebody else in the receiver room. I'm not going to debate you there, but I think they need something more youthful. And I turned my attention to the draft. I'm not paying anybody in this receiver class that wasn't one of the top 3 guys, personally.
Oh, the free agent class?
Of the free agent class. Like, I would hate to be the team that's spending money on any receiver in this free agency class that wasn't named Mike Evans, or if T. Higgins had become open on the market, Pittman to an extent. Like, if it wasn't those guys, I wouldn't want to pay any of these receivers when I can literally go get talented receivers in the draft, and they're all over the place, and get them for cheap.
Am I just crazy that I love David Moore? Like, every time the dude touched the ball, he made a big play. Like, every single time. He needs to get more shots. He's fast. He's big.
Maybe they bring him back. Obviously, they would get him for the league minimum, I'm sure.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think he's actually under contract.
No,
he's 6 foot, 220.
He should be a free agent, I believe.
Wikipedia has him. For some reason, I thought he signed a 2-year deal. For some reason. I could be that he's still listed as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I think he's still on the roster. I'm pretty sure. I have to double check that, but I like him, and I like him. Obviously Trey Palmer is faster, but I think David Moore's it. I would not want to go out and spend money on OBJ. Let's just put it that way.
No.
Let's draft a receiver, and I think they will. I think they'll draft a receiver. It's such a receiver-rich draft. I think they definitely will. No question.
He is a free agent, by the way.
He is a free agent?
Yes. So if they wanted to bring him back, which, that's possible, but they'd get him for the league minimum. It'd be a good little bargain, get him in the room. But again, I wouldn't be opposed to drafting a guy in the middle rounds either, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I would not touch anybody, not touch a single soul in free agency that is like a bigger name guy.
No, that's completely unneeded. And if you're going to, I think right now you take any of the resources you have, and most of the guys that even, they were looking at like Van Ginkel or Uche are gone, as far as rushers.
I'll tell you what a move I'd like to see the Bucs make. Going back to the question of what's next for the Bucs, if I'm trying to make us another splash outside of what I've already done, there's still a big hole at edge.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how you're going.
well, yeah. I mean, I'm not the first one to say it, but I would go check in on Josh Sweat.
Hell yeah.
I know him and Reddick are both available. I'd rather have Sweat because Reddick's going to be turning 31, I believe. Whereas Sweat is still 26 years old. I know he's about to turn 27 in a couple weeks, but he's 26 right now. 11 sacks in 2022. He was down to 6.5 this year, but he still had the same amount of quarterback hits. He gets pressures, all those things. I know he'd be a fan favorite for you coming from Florida State.
We need a Florida State guy.
Yeah, we don't have Florida State guys yet. I think the last two ones didn't exactly go as well as we would have hoped. So can you blame Jason Licht there?
Yeah.
The Gators he's picked haven't exactly been, panning out either.
No.
But no, Josh Sweat is available, it sounds like, especially since the Eagles went and got Bryce Huff. They got that extra third for Carlton. I don't think the price would be that steep. Like, I would give up a third to go get Josh Sweat.
Oh, God, yes. Easy. And what are you going to have to pay him? That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up his exact contract breakdown.
Would it be
mid-level? He is he's set to have a $9 million cap hit this year. He's not a UFA until 2020, or he's a UFA in 2025. So obviously you'd have to give him a deal for sure.
Yeah, I mean, $9 million, hell yeah.
But he's $9 million cap hit this year.
I would, yeah, that's easy. And I think they have that. And that would be a nice splash, because I think you need a guy like that. That's, kind of that elite athlete, big and strong, that has chops in this league, can, kind of take Yaya Diaby under his wing a little bit. We need that guy, because right now we don't have it. And
right. I don't think you're gonna get the guy you want at 26 that needs to be that guy for you. I really don't.
Because that's such a physical position, right? It's rare that young guys can come into the NFL and make a splash at that position. It's very rare. Only the great ones can do it. Because, look at the size of the guys that are the great ones. Khalil Mack. Von Miller would be, an aberration. J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt. These guys are massive. They're massive guys. Long, huge, fast, athletic. I mean, I think they're among the best size, speed athletes in the game today. And they have to play with just an incredible motor and ferocity. It's a special play. It's a special player that can be elite at this. And I'm not saying Josh Sweat is elite, but he's got a lot of those characteristics from a physical standpoint. Does that make sense?
Yeah. He would instantly be like, is he a true like game changer at the position necessarily? No. I think he's in that next wave of guys, kinda. But even for this Bucs team, he would be your number one guy. It doesn't stop you from taking an edge in the draft either at some point. But it just gets you a more proven guy. And Todd Bowles, I mean, you've heard him talk. He is going to upgrade that at some point. And who knows? I mean, Josh Uche was a nice little like candidate I thought for the Bucs to go get, but clearly, I mean, he's one of the rare ones. He chose. Oh, he didn't go for the money. He went to stay in New England, taking like a $3 million deal, and I think he was offered like $15 million over 2 years by someone. So obviously that went away, but yeah, the edge market's pretty much dried up on free agency. So why not?
What do you think about
Josh
Clowney?
Sweat?
What do you think about Clowney? Jadeveon Clowney. He's now 31 years old.
I'm not a fan. No, because it's like it depends what Clowney's role is when he's coming in here. Like Clowney's never been that guy that's going to just rack up like what's his career high in sacks? Like I think it's like 9.5 maybe. I want to say.
Let me see.
I know he had a really good year last year, but he was playing in a really good situation with Baltimore. Really great players around him. Yeah, he had 9.5 sacks last year, which was a career high.
Yeah.
He's 31 already. It just doesn't fit the profile, I guess, what I was looking for.
So he wouldn't be a JPP in your estimation.
I mean, he could be a JPP, but I don't know.
Yeah. And I like, would he be a good fit here? I don't know the guy. I don't know him from anything, I just, what I've just observed, it's been a career that's been underwhelming. I think that's fair to
for a
say.
number one pick.
Yeah.
For the hype that was on him, his career, I don't even want to say underwhelming. He's had a solid career.
Yeah.
He's had a solid career. But when you get a number one pick, you think more, obviously.
And Chase Young?
Chase Young, I'm not even entertaining. Yeah. Absolutely not.
If you can't be successful with the 49ers.
It's not even that. It's just he's another one. He's had an interesting start to his career. He's only 24. It feels like he's 30.
20, they list him at 25.
So somebody's going to pay him in hopes of getting some untapped potential, but I don't see game record like we thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Clowney, it depends on the price. I know he's going to visit Carolina, I think, today. I think he probably would be cheap as a nice option, but if you're asking Jadeveon Clowney to be your number one, I think, pass rusher, I think that's a mistake.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just more of a complimentary role, and I think that. But where are the Bucs going to get a guy that can be started?
I thought Shaq coming back on a 1 year deal that was cheap in a complimentary role, I wouldn't have hated. But then, God bless Shaq and everything. Like, I'm happy he got his money, but would I want to pay him? I think he got $9 million from Miami to be a compliment. Do I want to pay $9 million for a complimentary role? No, not really. Ideally. So that's great for Shaq. I'm happy he got his money and he gets to stay in Florida and all that. But I was thinking with Shaq, like if the Bucs were able to get a deal with him that was more of like in the $4 to $5 million range, I would have been on board with that, playing that veteran role.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, we got to hit another break here because I get to the legal ID here at the top of the hour for our 102.5 HD2 radio listeners. We'll come back and we'll hear the entire Baker Mayfield press conference. So we'll also hear from Liam Cohen, and we'll get into the Bolts as well as they get set to take on the Rangers tonight. Huge game for them, game 2 for the new guys. So stay with us. Quick break here on the JP Peterson Show. Hey, it's a great time to buy a house and get a mortgage with American Mortgage Services. Okay, I got your attention now. But JP, rates are at 8%. That's true, but I spoke with our friend Scott Fitzgerald at AMS Tampa, and this is what smart people are doing. Rates peaked at 8% last month, but they've come down, and AMS recently locked some folks in the high 6s. Prices have also stabilized or dropped in some areas. So if you're going to eventually buy, now is the best time to get the house you want. Fitz will get you the best rate out there, shopping it around to dozens of lenders, and when rates come down in a year or so and the frenzy begins again, prices go bananas again, you will already have the pick of the litter. Then he will refinance you and keep costs at nearly zero because that's what they do at AMS Tampa. You're back at 4% in the house you wanted while others fight the frenzy. Be smart. Stay one step ahead. Email Fitz at scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. Scott Fitzgerald, NMLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
All right, welcome back to the J.P. Peterson Show here, brought to you by the great folks at Synovus Bank. Your big bank with a local feel. Just head on in there. If you're looking to change your business address or your personal bank account, they have a great app, very functional, so you can do everything remotely. If you need help with your business, investment in your business, that's something that they do really, really well. Got a lot of folks that have been doing local banking for a long, long time. So it's a big bank, Synovus Bank. They have all the bells and whistles, but they're also local enough to make you feel like you're very, very important to them. So head on in there to the Synovus Bank nearest you. All right, before we get to the Bolts or the Baker Mayfield full presser, couple notes on the Bolts. Tanner Janot has been practicing with the team for a while now, so he should be ready to go tonight. And he skated on the fourth line yesterday with Tyler Mott and Luke Glendening.
Well, I actually have an update for you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was yesterday. John Cooper said he was trending towards playing tomorrow, but then he said, and this is as of 15 minutes ago from Chris Crid, he is not playing tonight.
Okay.
And the quote was, he's close, just not quite ready, and we're not comfortable. We don't want what happened last time to happen again. Right. So it's best you look after it now, then move forward.
Okay, there you go.
So
maybe we might be going 11-7 again tonight.
It sounds like Chernak, though, might be back tonight.
Chernak might be. Oh, that's good, because when he left the ice, that was concerning. That was concerning, no doubt about it. And, we've been talking about all these games that they have to make up in hand. These other teams are making up in hand, and the Lightning have been pretty fortunate because these other teams are not making runs. I thought the Islanders were coming to get them, but so far so good. I'm looking at the wild card standings right now. The Lightning still remain in the number one wild card spot, the 74 points. The Islanders now only have one game in hand. Like last week, it was 5, I think, and they're to 72 points. So that's good. That's good. The Red Wings also at 72 points now in the third spot, and the Capitals at 69 points with one game in hand. And they all just have, Red Wings have equal amount of games now.
Detroit is on a 6-game losing streak too. Yeah, they were really hot, also, and then they lost 6 in a row.
So those are the main teams right there, right? So, so you look at the Red Wings and the Caps. Caps are 5 points back now with one game in hand. They don't
have it in them. There's no way.
They sold off a lot of good players, so I don't see them as a contender. So right now it looks like 3 teams for 2 spots. Lightning, Islanders, Red Wings. I mean, the Flyers could fall back.
But the Flyers have the benefit of there's got to be a third team in that Metro.
Right.
That gets into that. I mean, that's the difference right now. Is you think about it, the Lightning are 8 points back from Toronto for the third spot in the Atlantic, and they're not catching them. But Philadelphia only has 2 points more than the Lightning, but they're sitting pretty in that third spot in the Metro.
Yeah. So I mean, it just looks like basically there's 3 teams for 2 spots.
Yeah,
it's the Islanders, Red Wings, and the Lightning.
I think Buffalo might make a push. If you look at Buffalo, they're kind of lurking. They're playing good hockey of late.
Yeah, but the Lightning have one game in hand, and they're
maybe not to catch the Lightning.
Ahead. Yeah,
they're maybe not to catch the Lightning, but they're only 5 points out from New York and Detroit. So,
that's all we care about.
Well, all we care about obviously is the Lightning. I think the Lightning, this is an ambitious trip or schedule though. The next 3 games.
Yeah.
You're going to find a lot about who the team is. I know that's like the cliche we say all the time, but it is true. What's the target amount of points that you're looking to get out of these 3 games? In an ideal world, you want to get 4. Is that too ambitious for this squad?
They need to show something, right? This is the time. It's past time, right?
Right.
So the Rangers have won 3 in a row. They got 90 points. They're sitting as the lead in the Metropolitan. Of course, the Panthers will be next on Saturday. They're the lead in the Atlantic with 94 points. They've won 2 in a row. So yeah, these are the big dogs, and Vegas. Let's see what they've done their last 10. The Golden Knights sit second
They were
in the
struggling,
wild card.
I know that, but
Yeah,
they've won
wild
2 in a
card
row.
chase. So they've won 2 in a row now. They're in the second wild card slot in the West. So yeah, these are good teams, and you got to go on the road to face them. So yeah, it's time. And Duclair, obviously, and Dumba played so well.
Boy, they were great
They
against
were
Philly.
fantastic. Yeah, Duclair was so good, and they've added a punch to this and some fire to this locker room. Love those additions. Now, or 10-goal differential between then those 2 games that they arrived. They're not that much of a difference maker, but
I just hope people see now, though, like when everybody was like, burning JBB at the stake for missing out on Noah Hannafin.
Yeah.
And, why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing that? And it's like, getting Duclair for the price they got him and then Dumba for the price they got him. Like, if you wanted to make moves, like, those were the moves. Like, you didn't really have to sacrifice much, and you got 2 quality players in who had a relationship and everything, and you might have a chance to re-sign both. I mean, to me, that was great. That was just what they needed.
And they spent the last 4 days doing some practice, which, of course, they needed to get involved in the systems. They'll be better there. And jet skiing around Davis Island. So,
oh, really?
Yeah. They said they've been enjoying the weather and the jet skiing, and the full court press recruitment has already begun. And this is why when guys come here, even if they're going to be a rental, you got a leg up on signing them, because you get them in the room, you get them in the organization, you get them in Tampa. They see the arena, they see everything, and they're like, wow, yeah, I might take a little bit less money to stay here. This might not be a bad idea. So yeah, not a bad thing in any way. So, all right, let's get back to the Bucs. Let's cue up the big press conference from yesterday. A lot of interesting questions, interesting answers. It's going to the core of what this Buccaneer team is all about. So let's roll, courtesy of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, our snarky comments will accompany the entire press conference.
Well, obviously another big day for us here, the organization, but huge day for Emily and Baker, and we're just extremely excited for both parties for this thing. A year ago at the Combine, starting around the Combine, Todd was hitting me up with a text, a call, or come down to my office at least twice a day, asking me, when are we getting big? I said, well, there's some rules here. We'll do the best we can. He had a lot of confidence in him. He developed a relationship with him when he was with the Jets in the 2018 draft. We had Baker as our #1 quarterback in that draft on our rankings, and so we had a lot of confidence in him. But nobody had more confidence than Baker. And it was about a year ago today, I don't know if it's exactly to the day, when I called him to congratulate him, you could feel the confidence that he was ready to come in here and take advantage of the situation. He had us circled.
Like, move over,
as the best
contrast.
place to go. We had him circled as the best
now.
player to come and follow the legend, Tom Brady, and not many quarterbacks would have the confidence to do that.
We haven't talked
Baker
enough about
certainly
that.
did. We love his
Really
leadership, love his ability on the field, but his leadership, his
Takes a
ability
special
to rally
guy
the
to do that.
team, the city, the fan base has been surreal. So with that, I'm going to give you a big.
Yeah, I appreciate it. First, got to obviously thank the Glazier family, all the front office guys, my agent, everybody that worked on this to get this done. As Jason mentioned last year, and truly the last few years of my career, a lot of ups and downs, and just to be able to have Emily by my side the whole time and see it through and have the opportunity to come here is a place that knows how to win from top down, and they do it well from the people that I talked to before even getting here. None of those words were a lie. Obviously knew Coach Bowles coming into it, got to know Jason pretty quickly, and just knowing the staff and the key pieces that they had here were obviously a good look to try and sign here and know I have a chance to play and prove myself, and with just the opportunity. God had a plan for me and saw it through, and just the group we had as well made it so special last year. Made it a big reason why I wanted to come back here, knowing that we have a lot of the same staff coming back, key pieces, We were close. We made a good run there at the end, but I don't think any of our guys were satisfied. But it was the group that stuck together through all the highs and lows that made it so special for us. And yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to, push for a deeper playoff run. Obviously, if it's not a Super Bowl, only one team's happy in the end. So that's the goal here, is to try and win a couple. And very thankful for this opportunity. And we call Tampa home now. And it's obviously welcome another a key piece to our family, adding a little girl into the family here pretty soon. And just a lot of exciting things for us. And we're really, really blessed and can't say enough.
All right, question time. The assembled media of Tampa Bay.
Hi, Baker. Congratulations. Jenna Lane, ESPN. What was that moment like for you and Emily when you decided, you know what, we agree to terms, Tampa's going to be our next home for 3 years?
A weight lifted off of our shoulders from the from the traveling journey that we've been on the last couple of years. For us, knowing how much we truly loved being here, and throughout the whole process, we thought we were going to call this place home in the off season regardless. That's how much we fell in love with just the community, the city overall, and truly enjoyed living here. So a weight lifted off our shoulders, but just
Tom
knowing that we
us.
can settle in and truly make a difference, whether it's with the organization and throughout the community, that we can truly be rooted and kind of a boots on the ground mentality to make a difference and see that through. It's a special feeling.
Hey, Baker, JP Peterson, FanStream Sports, Tampa Bay. Given the terms of the contract and what Kirk Cousins got, comparable, or maybe you could argue a better younger player yourself, is it fair to say that you left some money on the table here to get these other guys done, as Jason's been able to get all your teammates done and there's more work to do? And was that part of the strategy?
Great question.
For me, I said it immediately after our Detroit game. Following the loss, to build a winning team and to have a lot of the key pieces that we needed back to continue this run and improve it. Some sacrifices have to be made. Now, listen, this is life-changing money, and I'm not going to act like otherwise. It's something that I've worked extremely hard for over the years and many years of football. So I'm grateful for it. And there's nothing to be ashamed about. There's nothing to say, oh, well, he got more. And then it's not that mentality, knowing that we have a chance to bring back some key pieces and make a further run in the playoffs. That's important to me. I'm a winner at heart. I hate losing. So knowing that we get a lot of guys back and we can continue to build this for years to come it's a special thing.
All right,
No
pause
state
it.
taxes.
Pause it. Jason, no state taxes. Yeah, see that and I took some heat from some folks about asking the question in the way that I did, but I wanted to get to the essence of that because most of these guys he's not going to volunteer that, because other guys might, but he's not going to do that. So as a member of the media, I wanted to point that out, and I wanted to get his and see if he would elaborate on it. And I think he did in the classy way that he has done. And I'm glad he answered it in the way that he did. And I think it should. I think that is the headline right there. And it's not just Bake. He's setting the table. And Mike, even though Mike went first, he knew Bake was coming back. And he knew that Bake was coming back at a number that could get everybody back. And he knew Bake wasn't going to free agency and trying to break the bank. So, Mike may have started it, but he knew. And Bake even mentioned that in the press conference. You'll hear it later on. He and Mike had talked. He wasn't going anywhere. They were just
and even the way he answers the questions, the way he presents himself, like, isn't it like funny? It's like it almost seems like just wasted noise that we and I think every show in this area and everywhere spent talking about Baker's maturity and has he grown up or not or this and that. And I mean, obviously the answer is yes, but I think failure does that to a person. I mean, isn't that what they always say? You got to learn how to, know, what is the saying? I love it. I love this saying. You got to know what the outhouse looks like to appreciate the penthouse.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And Baker Mayfield's definitely seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that played a role in it. Clearly, obviously, you got married. He's got a kid on the way. Like, all these things, I think, have played a role. And it's funny to me. A year ago, we're talking about, man, is Baker Mayfield going to be mature? What's the press conference going to sound like? And then now we already know what every press conference sounds like. He's going to kill it. He's going to act like a stand-up guy and who you want as your quarterback.
Right. And I think it's interesting because I think the people that were kind of, and there weren't many, but just a couple that were ripping me on social for the question I asked it in the way I did, is because they assume that unless you get the biggest contract, you're a failure. That wasn't what I was saying. What I was saying is you're a bigger man and you're a better teammate by doing what you did. And, and there are guys out there that feel like if they don't get the biggest bag, somehow they've been disrespected. It takes a mature person and a secure person to understand that their value is not simply measured by the money that you make. You have to look inside of you and ask yourself, what's most important to me? And this is not just in football, but in life. What are the things that are most important to me? What am I most passionate about? Am I going to be able to do those things that I like doing, working for this job? I'll make more money, but I won't have the freedom or the happiness to enjoy my life. What's more important to me? And I would counsel all of you that if you're making decisions based solely on money, you're a moron and you are not going to live a very happy life because, having money helps. Ain't no doubt about that. But to me, it's more about quality of life and what's important to you. And you can clearly see to Baker Mayfield, winning is way more important. But like he said, it's life-changing money.
Right. That's the thing.
And this is what makes me crazy. It's like, if you're a quarterback, it's like, dude, is $30 million a year not enough? Like, you got to have 45, you got to have 60, Dak? Really? I mean, wouldn't you rather win? You're the Cowboys quarterback. Wouldn't you rather win? I would, because you're going to make more money off the field if you win. Imagine if Dak won a Super Bowl, how many freaking Campbell's soup commercials he would get. But now he's just going to, at this point, he's just kind of a footnote of a guy who can't get it done.
Right. It's defined him. It defines him.
Right. And I think, I'll point to Kirk Cousins. He didn't have to take all that money in Atlanta. He didn't have to. He could have said, hey, I appreciate it, but what can we do with if you give me 30? What can we do with the others? Okay. Well, a lot we could do.
You kind of said it though. He's in a unique situation where all their best players are all on rookie deals right now.
Well,
maybe it's a little different, but
there's still some real good guys in free agency that they could use in Atlanta that they can't go get because they don't have the money to do it. It's a math game. I know it's not a hard cap, but it's still, if you want to, you can get guys under the cap just about any way. But how much are you willing to sacrifice for the future? That's the question. How much dead money do you want to push to the future?
At Baker's heart, yes, he's matured. Yes, he doesn't take the bait from some of the questions that are asked sometimes, like he did in Cleveland, right?
Right.
But at his heart, and you could see it on his play, he is a guy that wants to win. He's a competitor. It's all those like buzzwords you always associate with Baker Mayfield. It's like maybe he's not the guy who is. You remember Oklahoma, Kansas in like 2017, the infamous incident at midfield when he tried to shake their hands and they didn't. Maybe he's not that guy necessarily anymore, or he's not going to show it. But like that's somewhere in him, that type of competitor. He's just not going to go out there and like make a fool out of himself like he sometimes did in college, if that makes sense. But that competitor is in him. Like that is Baker Mayfield still. Yeah.
Yeah. And I, did I kind of set him up for that question? Yeah, I did.
So
because I wanted to hear it. Well, it's not. I knew, as James said right here, he answered the question perfectly. Yeah, he did. And because that's where he's at right now. And it's not because it's a manufactured answer. It's because it's real. Let's continue.
That's a good point.
Use that one a lot.
The no state tax.
Baker, Rick Stroud, the Tampa Bay Times. Just, at what point last year was the most difficult for you? There was a time when you guys weren't winning games. What was it that was enabled you and your teammates to kind of pull out of that with everything on the line that you had personally and professionally?
For me, the transition coming into this team and the organization, they had all the key pieces. And Coach Bowles told me from the very beginning, just be myself, be passionate, be the fiery leader. He knew me from the college days. And so just knowing that was kind of my role within the organization, just to keep pushing guys, see it through. We're never out of the fight, and to have that mentality. So even during that midseason lull that we had, it wasn't fun. Losing's not fun. But leaning on the veterans, the guys that had been here for years and had won a lot of ball games, have been to the Super Bowl and won it. And so leaning on those guys and just trying to show the younger guys the way, and just trusting that process, not trying to reinvent the wheel, but saying, guys, we're good enough. If we just do the little things right and we go from there, we can control our own destiny at that point.
Baker, congrats over here. Rock Riley, Tampa Free Press, congrats.
Thank you.
I know you're real tight with Tristan Wirfs, so did you make the call to him? What was his reaction? Because I know you've been buddies. And did you kind of know that Mike Evans was going to be back? How much of a factor was that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing this.
I truly didn't know Mike was going to be back until he signed. I was actually out of town, and Mike called me, and he said, "Are we doing this or what?" And that was a couple days before they announced that he was signing back. So obviously he's a big part of that. Now, in terms of Tristan, we were sitting at lunch when I got the call. So I was there with Emily and his girlfriend Meredith. They're 1 week apart due date wise, and so big dog's back in the corner right there. One of my best friends now, and just knowing that we have that relationship. Obviously, Luke's in here as well, but just how close I became with these guys, it became a huge factor in the decision. Knowing that I'm going to fight for them and they're going to fight for me, that's a big thing for it. It's a great group.
How about that?
Baker, congratulations. Scott Reynolds, Pewter Report. You had your best statistical season last year, hitting some career highs. You had a perfect game against Green Bay. What led to last year being, in terms of personal and professional growth, your best season? And how can you take your game to new heights this year?
From the very beginning, organization made me comfortable in saying, be the best version of yourself. And as a quarterback, somebody that you always have eyes on you, there's no other words that can make you feel more welcome than that. And so for me, just trying to do the little things right. And once the play is there, then you can really let the energy, the character, and all that rub off on everybody else. And so for me, just knowing that you play good ball and you trust the guys around you, good things will happen. And so for me, coming back on this process. Looking at system-wise, that was a big reason why I had a lot of success. I think it does do a really good job of showing my skills and some of my traits, and obviously being able to work with Liam in the past. Obviously, it was a short stint, but knowing that we have a good relationship and knowing how he's going to push me and push everybody else to get on the same page. Obviously, Thad's in here, Thad Lewis, our QB coach as well, knowing that we have that room that we're bringing back, and we can really control this thing and control the ship.
Baker, congratulations. JC Allen, Sports Illustrated.
Love that
Game
answer,
Day.
too.
Your journey has
They all
been
knew
well
they were coming
documented, the
back.
adversities, the lack of security, stability you've had throughout the franchises. Coming back here and having the season you did, re-signing now, what did you learn about yourself last year as a person, as a teammate, as a quarterback? How do you carry that into the future?
My journey's not been the one that I exactly envisioned. A lot of ups and downs, but just trusting it. Adversity, how you handle it is really a true test of character. And so for me, trying to relate it to some of the things I did from high school, having to walk on, the college, having to battle for a job, losing a job in Cleveland, going to Carolina, having to move to LA, and just all those things, you realize mental toughness can take you a long way. And just trusting yourself, believing in yourself and having that confidence and, trusting God that you have everything you're capable of, and you have it all right there available for you. So just go do that and be the best version of yourself. So for me, this was a good place that has already shown me that I can do that.
Pause it for a sec. Begin.
Hi, Baker. Mike Pett.
That is, such another great answer. We used to get some of these long format answers from Tom Brady early on in some of his press conferences, would kind of glimpse into, how you succeed as a player and as a human. And, what Baker went through in these last few years, look, it's champagne problems, right? It's not like he's looking for his next meal. But that being said, it's on a very global, scale, and it's every one of your failures is magnified because of who you are. And it's sometimes you can lose your confidence. And when we talk about, quarterbacks going to bad organizations and losing their confidence and quarterbacks being ruined, it's a real thing, man. It's a real thing because it's like sometimes it's like a golfer. It's the difference between making a great throw and a pick six is such a small thing, and it can be nothing more than the mental commitment to the throw. Like when you're sitting back there and you're like thinking, oh God, I can't throw an interception, I can't throw another pick, I can't do. That's the wrong mentality, and that would have been a very easy mentality for Baker to fall into. Don't fail. Was not his mindset. It was thrive, be who you are, be confident in who you are, go out and meet the world in that space. And that's what he did. And when you see, and it started in Minnesota, that we talked about how important that game was, and he was far from perfect, but he made winning plays. And at that moment you were like, okay, you can build off this. And that was a huge moment for this team. Obviously, you win a division by a game, every game counts, but that was huge. And I think that whole answer there about the confidence and staying confident and having an organization that allows you to do that. And I think that's, what Jason said in the beginning, I thought was so incredibly important. And you hear Baker say this throughout the press conference. They allowed me to be me. They said, come be you. Take over this team. Don't be afraid. This is what we need. You're exactly a great fit for this team. And, and there were some rough moments, when you lose 5 or 6 games, there were some moments when we all were saying, is this really going to work? And they rebounded in a big way. All right, let's continue.
Pepper Sports Tampa.
I like that hat.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
So, little Sooners. Congratulations, and Jason, congratulations. And, one thing when you look at, you kind of addressed on the last couple questions, but I was wondering, your NFL career, you haven't had an offensive coordinator back-to-back years. It's been kind of insane, and yet
you were able to. Yeah.
And obviously you're not going to this year, but you have worked with Liam. Given this contract and seeing where the Bucs are at this point, what do you think a second year and even to a third year? You talked about the room being the same. How much are you looking forward to that and to continuing your growth?
That's a huge factor to know the things that we did well last year and the things that we want to improve. The starting point, and you do have to. I think that's the tricky part. You have to go back to the basics. You have to start from day one. If you act like you have it figured out from the beginning, then you're doing it wrong. So you have to start back from scratch. But at the same time, we know the pieces. We know the things that we're really good at on offense. Just knowing that it's a similar system, and so for us, being able to grow in that and continue to push each other, how we operate week to week during the off season as well as in season. It's a huge thing to have. The routines with your guys and know that if there's something that I need from that room, everybody in there is willing to do it, and likewise. So it's when you know the people that you're working with, you can fight for them even harder just knowing who they are as people.
Hey, Baker, Greg Allman with Fox Sports over here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Baker, you've always been a really self-motivated person. A year ago, there's doubt around you. There's low expectations around this team. And now you have the stability and the respect of this contract. You're a captain on a defending division champ. Expectation is going to be a lot higher. How do you find the same drive and motivation now with all these things working in your favor?
Yeah, the expectation on the outside, if you pay attention to that, you're not doing it right. And just knowing the people we have in this building, we set our own standard. We know what our own expectation is. We know the pieces that we have. We're capable of winning a Super Bowl. And so you set that standard, and you don't let anybody dip below that line. And so for us, the guys that we have a lot of the same guys coming back that we were there. Once you get a taste of losing in the playoffs, it makes you driven even more. And so for us, knowing that we were a little bit short in the playoffs and just to continue to push. And there was a lot of lessons we learned last year as a team as well. To obviously starting out 3-1, then going to 4-7, and having to win 5 out of 6 of the last ones to get into the playoffs. So we were battle tested, but knowing that we can control that, there's things that can go your way, but as long as you stay the course, good things will happen.
Jason, this one's for you. Scott Reynolds, Pewter Report. Obviously, Baker's got a strong arm, very talented quarterback, leadership ability off the charts, but his toughness, mental and physical toughness, The reason why you guys have been to the playoffs 4 years in a row, your starting quarterback has not missed a single start. 3 years with Brady, last year with Baker. He was hurt, but battled through that. How much does toughness, Baker's mental and physical toughness, mean to this organization and to you as a talent evaluator?
This could be the quote
Well,
of
it
the
means
day.
everything. He set the tone for this team with his, well, for lack of a better word, he's probably a 1 out of 10. He's a 10 on the prick scale. So sorry, Nelson.
Thank you. I'll take that.
So it's like that's what you want in your offensive lineman, and Baker's kind of an offensive lineman in a quarterback's body. So it's what's rallied this team this year. He was a big part of it.
Hello, Baker. River Wells, Bucks Gate over here. Congratulations. I wanted to ask you, you talk about Tampa Bay being home now, and from an organizational standpoint, we talked about why that is, but you've also been involved in the Tampa Bay community. So what about the fans, the community, and the culture around the Tampa Bay area also makes this home for you for the next few years?
It's a special place. I came into this place not really knowing what the community was like, hearing that it's a hockey town, even though they were coming off a Super Bowl. So just seeing the passionate fans, the ones that talk about going to the old sombrero, the ones that have been fans for a long time, that have stuck through the thick and thin, that's what makes it special. The people that are traditional fans, obviously we always welcome new ones, but the ones that have been here for the long haul make it really special. And so for Emily and I, we started our foundation last year, and just being able to, like I said earlier, boots on the ground mentality, making a difference in the community. For us, this is a great opportunity to do that. And I knew nothing about it, but it's a laid-back city, but people are really, really passionate about their sports, and it gives us the opportunity to truly make a difference in the long run.
Love that. Love that.
The quick thing, the answer he gave there about he thought it was just a hockey city or something.
Yeah. Has anyone ever said that about Tampa Bay?
No, and I brought it up because like this was just it just popped in my mind. So yesterday, real quick, when we were waiting, we were in New York at the airport at the terminal, and we're sitting and waiting for it to board. And there were these people having a discussion, and they were going to Tampa, and he was like, "Yeah, he's like, I see the Rangers play the Lightning tomorrow in Tampa, but he's like, but do people in Tampa Bay do they like ice hockey? Like, do they go to the
Ice
games?
hockey? Who calls it
he
ice
called it ice hockey, and he's like, do they go to the games? Like, I don't know. And I'm just like sitting there like a fly on the wall listening. I'm like, are we really? Do they go to the games? They sell it every night, sir.
Yeah, probably not a big hockey fan, but yeah. But I thought it's interesting that Bake, his national perspective of Tampa Bay was that's a hockey town. I don't think I've ever heard that as a national perspective.
I have never. In fact, I've heard more people in the NHL poo-poo on it than anything.
Right, way more. So it's good to know that's out there a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Well, listen, he's probably a guy that zeroes in on teams winning titles. That's where his focus goes. How are these teams win? Who won the high? That's how he looks at Tampa Bay. Even though, we got a couple of Super Bowl championships as well. So
right. Yeah. Maybe we're not. Are we still in our Tampa Bay phase? I don't know. Are we still there?
Oh no. The numbers would say yes, because we're still the only city that has had our big three make the playoffs. 4 years in a row.
Right.
I mean, think about that.
Yeah, and all of our franchises are mainstays in the playoffs. So
yeah. So I mean, that's hard to do. That's
right.
Really hard to do, and we're the only city that can boast that. So think about that for a second. We talked about a great sports city, and here's the thing. Yeah, our teams are doing well. They are doing well on a kind of consistent basis. Now our fans, we could be better. There's no question we could be better.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see the Carlton quote, by the way, that he threw a little shade at Bucks fans yesterday?
I didn't see the quote, but I heard that there were some fans that were upset.
Yeah, I mean, because he said something about he called the Bucks like a decent fan base.
Yeah.
And then went on to say basically Detroit is just like a whole a different level. And I understand why Bucks fans are going to be upset about it, but I don't think he lied.
He ain't wrong.
I mean, they kind of. I
He
mean,
ain't
remember,
wrong.
I was at that Bucks Lions game earlier this year, and my goodness, it was
Bucks Eagles.
Yeah, Bucks Eagles. Like the
That was
Bucks were
50. That was 50% Eagles fans.
Yeah, right. And that was
Don't get it twisted.
for the regular season game, not the
For the
playoff
regular
game.
season, not the playoff
The regular
game, but
season
the regular
game.
season game.
Early
Yes.
last year, they were getting outnumbered, or it was at least close to 50-50 splits against these teams. So
That's right. That's right.
No.
Now, you Bucks fans, you can get pissed, and Rays fans, and I'm not going to include Lightning fans in here. We take care of our business, but there is room for improvement. And I of course we give you Rays fans grace. You have more than enough reason to stay away. But you Buck fans, we can be better. We can be way better. I'm not getting on a diatribe, but
right.
yeah. So don't get mad at CD3. I'm not. He's got it. Because these guys know. You think when they're getting their ass handed to them by Philadelphia, that it's fun for them to look up in the stands and see 50% green jerseys? I mean, do better. Do better as a football team.
Right.
But still.
And to be fair, like Detroit's fan base is like, I mean, it's hard to compare many to them, right? I mean, they've got to be like what, top 3, top 5 at worst fan bases in the country.
Philly?
No, Detroit. Like for where he's going.
Well,
I mean, for how they travel. I mean, again, success has played a role in that again.
Yeah.
But the way they traveled this past year, it was insane.
It's a big deal. Well, they also, had a lot of money saved up. They haven't done squat. They done squadoosh in 35 years. They haven't spent a lot of money on playoff tickets for
And
the
they
Red
haven't
Wings.
spent. And they
for
have
the Lions,
the Pistons,
for the Tigers,
the Tigers.
the
Oh, my
Pistons. They
goodness.
suck. They've got plenty of money stored away for playoff tickets and playoff travel. Tampa Bay's been stretched a little bit. Let's just say so.
That is kind of crazy the way you thought about the way you just put that.
Yeah, think about it.
The Detroit playoff game at home, when was the last Detroit playoff game of any sport before that game?
Oh, they hadn't won it. They hadn't won a game in 30 years.
No, I mean like for the Tigers, Pistons, Red Wings, and what do you call it? Lions. Before that Lions playoff game, what was the last playoff game to feature a Detroit professional sports team before that?
I don't know.
I mean, we had to have gone back at least 5-6 years.
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe the Pistons were, like an 8th seed one year, maybe I could be wrong on that.
Oh my goodness.
That's
a good point.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's finish up here with Bake.
Baker, what you did this past season wasn't lost on you. You stood there in that post-game interview room in Carolina, Week 18, and said, this was the very room that I was cut in. But just, can you put into perspective what it's meant
James
to
put on
come
here, he wasn't cut.
And to fight for a
He asked for his
starting
release.
job and to lead this team to the playoffs, to get a playoff win, to secure your financial future, and also to be the guy that now everybody in the league is saying, I want to be like that guy. I may not have gotten my career off to the best start, but you know what? I can turn this thing around. I can turn my career around.
Yeah. It's all about opportunities. And so for me, I looked at this as an unbelievable opportunity to come to a place that's really stable, that was going to give me the best opportunity, like I keep mentioning, to be the best version of myself, and that means a lot. So it's a tricky business. There's injuries. There's a lot of things that can happen to you in your career, self-inflicted ones too, and I've gone through both of those. And so for me, it's a good opportunity to be able to, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and not to say that I'm satisfied by any means, but you can push through these challenges and the ups and downs that you go through. And as long as the mentality I came in here with was, as long as I can say that I was the best teammate possible to these guys, I was the best leader possible for these guys, and I did everything that I could to work extremely hard and control that, I was going to hang my head high. And we did that. We stuck together, and so that was a big reason why I had fun playing football again. And that's a huge factor in me playing better.
Peter Blake of the JP Peterson Show. This question is for Jason.
Oh, yes, Peter Blake.
You talk about free agency, possibly having a boat parade, if you will. You re-sign all your other guys. When is the boat parade for you, Jason?
Well, I think if you go back to my quote, we need to get Antoine secured long-term and do a deal with Tristan. So after that.
Oh, come on. That's done. Come on.
Baker, James
I'll be on a
Hill.
boat on Friday, though, so just so you guys know.
Baker, congratulations.
Are we
James
missing the
Hill,
parade?
ABC7. Just talk a little bit
Are we
about
signing Tristan and
providing this
Antoine?
organization with more victories and going forward. They've tasted world championship twice in the Super Bowl, but you have dreams and ambitions of doing that here.
Yeah, obviously, as a football player, you want to win a Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal. Everybody sets out to do that from the beginning of the new league year, and you see what kind of pieces you can put together. But being in an organization that has tasted it before is extremely important because they've done it, and especially recent. So that makes a big difference that they know the process, the ups and downs. They know that they're going to put us in the best position possible to win because they've done it before, and that's a huge factor in why coming back here meant a lot. And you set your goals extremely high, and we're at the highest level of football competition that we can be in, and that's a big factor in it.
All right, we'll take a pause here, and we'll finish up with some of this tomorrow if need be, if other developments don't take place. We'll take one more break. When we come back, we might have a little bit of time for some Liam Cohen, who spoke with the media as well yesterday, a little impromptu press conference. So we'll do that. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's their 40th anniversary. They've been around a long, long time. They are trusted. And, of course, they have the best prices and selection. So if you're thinking about getting engaged, no other place you want to go. Because if you go to other places, you don't know if you're getting exactly what you're paying for, right? How long have they been around? Are they trusted? You don't know. At the Gold and Diamond Source, you know. And you can bring your diamond back and get full value towards upgrading. So they're not going anywhere, and that's important. Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, well, welcome back to the J.P. Peterson Show here on this Thursday as we roll through. And the Buccaneers are probably, for the most part, done in free agency. Had they added Jordan Whitehead, 2 years, $9 million. That's a huge get. It's a huge get.
Yeah.
Love it.
Sounds like he's going to speak at, if I got it right, 4 today, maybe?
Who, Jordan?
Jordan, I believe 4 o'clock. I want to get that right, but I believe 4 o'clock today.
Got a lot of people chiming in here today, so let's get to some of these comments before we get out of here. We'll give you the Liam Cohen stuff tomorrow on tomorrow's show. It's kind of fun stuff, so we'll do that. Let's see. I'm trying to find some of the good ones here. Yes, Nelson Luis is the PR representative. That's who they're talking about with Nelson. He does a phenomenal job. Carlton Davis called it the way it is. More Buccaneer fans will trade fandom for money. Nathan Elliott coming strong. James says, I get it, but you can't blame fans totally after selling out with Brady and then everyone predicting 3 wins. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about you as a fan base, though.
Right? Well, that's on the Glazers for making Brady fans buy 2 years. So you're saying,
I just feel like you'll go see. So you're telling me that, yeah, if Tom Brady's here, I'll go see him play. But when he's gone, I have no interest. Like, I just listen to the way that sounds. Like I had to sit
exactly.
Like I've sat in that stadium. I've watched Tom Brady play. I've watched Jameis play. I've watched Baker play. I watched Mike Glennon play. I watched Josh McCown, Josh Freeman. Do I got to keep going? Because it gets worse. Trust me.
Yeah, come on now. But these are tough conversations to have. You know, I don't want to dump on our local fans, but I just want to inspire them to be better.
I'm just saying your reputation, friends, your reputation is not great outside of these parks. I'm just It's just the thing.
It is what it is. Like, here's the thing about that, man. Be self-aware, like Baker. Like he said, yeah, I made a lot of self-inflicted wounds.
Yeah,
you got to be come on.
I wish the last time we got to see this Bucs team play at home, it was amazing. I wish that translated more. That's all. I think that's really the point.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree, 100%. And look, where the Philadelphia Eagles trending in the wrong direction compared to where they were earlier in the season. Clearly. Yes, they were. But did it make a difference that it was 95% Buck fans and not 50% Eagle fans? Yeah, I think it did. Yeah, I think it did.
Of course.
And so if you guys can make a huge difference, and that's all, we're just trying to, and most of the people we're talking to here are not the people that need to hear it. These are true fans.
Right.
Nathan, Rick, James, Yeezy, all you guys that are listening and commenting, you're not the ones that need to hear this. It's the other people that we're talking about. You guys are the ones pulling the boat.
James gets it. He says, "Trust me, I watched Steve Spurrier play."
That's right. That's right.
Oof.
Yeah, and let's be honest. When the Lions sucked, their place was empty for the most part.
Right.
But they put on a show last year.
Yeah. I love. By the way, I know this has nothing to do with Tampa, but I respect the research from Nathan, so I just want to get to it real quick. Because I mentioned when's the last time Detroit teams won anything at home in playoffs?
Yeah.
And he actually went and did the research. The Lions the Lions just got it done. The Red Wings was 2016 against the Lightning.
Jesus Christ.
The Red Wings last playoff home win was 2016 against the Lightning.
Yeah, holy crap.
Yeah.
That's a while ago.
Right. And then the Pistons was 2008 against the Celtics.
Oh my God. Was freaking Dumars still playing? He may have been.
And then the Tigers against the Red Sox in 2013. So you weren't lying about that comment. They got money to spend.
Holy crap. No wonder it's Detroit against everyone because you guys suck. Golly. Everybody showed up for the Lions. Yeah. About freaking time. Yeah. We are spoiled. We are living through, and we've told you this for the past, 4 or 5 years. We enjoy the moment, And that's, as we wrap it up here, that's sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I think it's huge to understand. We're not Atlanta. We're not the Saints. Certainly not Carolina. We're not going to have to go through the Buccaneers this, rebuilding of 3-4 years, or in the Falcons' case, 6 years, or in the Panthers' case, Lord knows how long this is going to take. That franchise is so effed up on so many levels. They're so screwed. And so, I mean, we don't have to go through that. All hail Jason Light and the Glazers.
We paid 15 years of dues already.
Yeah. And so, if you're a Buck fan, jump on in. This is a team. It doesn't have Tom Brady, but damn, if you can't root for these guys, that's a you problem. That is a you problem. These guys, I don't know them well, but from what I've seen, the Baker Mayfields, the Tristan Wirfs, the Mike Evans, the Antoine Winfields, I mean, you keep on going down the line. You can root for all these guys. They're not about the bag. They're about winning, and they're not divas. I mean, they have cultivated a certain type of player on this team, and, no divas allowed. They're not signing any more Deshaun Jacksons. Trust me on that deal. That's what you won't see. I don't want to just besmirch Mr. OBJ because I think he's grown up a lot, but I still don't see him as the type of person that they're going to bring in. And if, it wasn't for Tom Brady, you wouldn't have seen AB either. So,
right.
And did it work out? Yeah, I guess. Could we have won the Super Bowl without him? Maybe. But, it is what it is. All right. Great job to you, my friend, Nick Geddes. Appreciate you on this Thursday. We'll see you next week. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have some Liam Cohen for you, some other surprises. We'll see what the Bucs do. And, of course, we'll wrap up big Lightning game with the Rangers tonight. That's going to be huge. Of course, I'll be there at Amalie Arena doing my thing. Please come say hello. I'll be walking around. So I always love it when you guys come up and say hello and talk JP Peterson Show stuff. It's always fun. So thank you guys for joining us. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.